All right, Roger's restarting his computer, so we'll start when he gets here.
Absolutely.
So I think the ambassadors are walking around Zobek with, a little bit more a straighter back, as well as the special envoys.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Boy, Roger must be using a PC.
Probably. Would you like to update Windows? No!
Yeah. I don't miss those days.
Eventually it says, "We have asked you many times. It is no longer a choice."
It's always a choice.
All right, while we're waiting for Roger, questions about the expense money and the vouchers. So the vouchers can be used for the magic shops on the PDF. Anything else can be used can be checked out at the quartermasters. So the quartermaster is limited to +1/+2 armor or armor, weapons, and shields as far as magic items. Everything else has to come from the magic shops from around Zobek, like scrolls, potions,
Right.
what have you.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy couple of weeks, so I haven't had a chance to consolidate all of your wish lists on a spreadsheet, but I'll do that either this weekend or early next week, and I'll send out a link to everybody that everybody can edit, and that way we can keep track of things and stuff.
Just so you know, Clay, I did like grab what most people posted into like a little notepad. It's not at all organized, but it might help.
Oh yeah, that'd give me a head start. So yeah, fling it my way. For sure. Also, I will be tracking session points on the spreadsheet,
Okay.
the Midgard Adventure spreadsheet. So please check to make sure what I enter there matches with your records. And we'll generally track session points, but if we get to a part of the campaign where I think you guys need to be a higher level, I'll just unilaterally bump you guys up a level. Okay. That way you'll have some understanding on about how close you are to leveling up and when to spend your hero points and all that other stuff.
Right.
And I think that's it. So when we last left our heroes, there was kind of a big showdown in the Zobek City Council chamber where the hidden ambassador of the Court of the Shadow Fae waltzed into the room and pretty much declared that the Shadow Court is asserting its right to essentially repossess Zobek and all the lands that were given to the Strauss family as a fiefdom to rule on behalf of the Shadow Realm. And that was like 600 years ago when all of that happened. You also heard that the Winter Court briefly took power, and news of the transfer of power finally reached the Midlet King, which pissed him off, and he became very angry, and that's when he sent instructions to the hidden bastard of Zobek, along with some advanced forces to start asserting their authority over the area.
I have a question about the summer and winter. If they support each other, if they carry out each other's policies, then the winter court was short lived, not because the summer court attacked it or anything, right? There's no hostility.
No. Generally, the summer court rules longer. We'll learn more about the Moonlit King as we keep playing, but no hostilities between the summer and winter court. The king and queen are married,
Oh,
and the queen is actually kind of the more dominant ruler.
Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing, Roger?
Good. How we go?
Good. So Mike is streaming us.
Okay.
Just so you know. Let me see. 3 of you were made ambassadors, and 3 of you were made special envoys. The mayor has provided you with temporary lodging and offices, a house in the merchant district. I sent everyone their statuses. So Brynjar, Quentin, and Sheev, your Zobek status is 17. And Saduk, Barask, and Sorrel's status is 15. So I'll update those on the spreadsheet as well, the centralized spreadsheet. Any other questions before we get going?
what is the status for? I'll add it to my whatever attribute thing status.
So status in Midgard, pretty much it's almost like renown in Adventure League. You know, you are status goes for anywhere from 0 up. So 0 is pretty much slave. Where you guys are at diplomatic ranks, ambassadors, special envoys. You're probably about 10 points below the Lord Mayor and some other notable figures. The higher you go, you're starting to get to king and emperor, status. So basically, it allows you to, easily get more information where needed, and it just makes you more of a notable figure around Zobek.
Oh, so it's a subcategory of status / Zobek status, right?
Yeah, this is your Zobek status.
Not Shadowface status.
Not Shadowface status. Nope, that's correct. All right, so a few days have passed. They finally opened up the embassy for you guys and have it all staffed up. And I'm going to move you guys there.
Embassy.
So you guys have been given a former Strauss family residence.
Wow.
And it's city property. It's one of the few manor houses in Zobek that has its own garden. And it's also probably one of the better upper class homes, in Zobek. Pretty much anything the Strauss family was involved in, they made sure that they spared no expense, on their lifestyles. And if these walls could talk, they would tell long stories of money, corruption, influence, dark secrets, probably even murder and other intrigue. The estate building is a 2-level affair divided into 2 wings, connected by a curved hall facing southeast to get the best sun of the day. And I'll show you guys the second floor in a minute. Below this main area, there is a service level where the kitchens, the larders, the pantries, storage rooms, it's generally where the domestic staff hang out. The structure is anchored by this huge ballroom on one end, very spacious room. You could probably have a concert in there if you wanted to. And the main sleeping areas are the upper stories of this wing and this wing right here. Right here is the library, this whole structure. Pretty long room. A lot of, mostly fiction, nonfiction books, but there may be some other types of books as well. And then there's a secret room, which is more or less stocked with um, wine and some other luscious liquid. I've labeled a few of the areas for you. The rest of the rooms can be anything that you want them to be. In the back, there's a very large, lush garden, well tended. The statues in the garden are various statues of Strauss family members, that lived in this house. And this back garden right here is pretty much all roses, white in color. When you enter the house for the first time, you see, in the ballroom they have the household staff lined up on one end, and civil servants. The civil servants that were given to you to assist you in your preparation for your diplomatic mission are there as well on the opposite side. The butler steps forward to you guys and introduces himself. He's a tall human, probably in his 50s, very immaculately dressed, ramrod straight back. And he introduces himself as Mr. Carson, and he is the butler. And so he's pretty much the number one domestic staff of the state. Next to him is standing Mrs. Hughes, who is the housekeeper, and she controls the maintenance of the house, as well as all of the maids that are here to assist you. Mr. Barrow is the underbutler, who reports to Mr. Carson. And then you have, a cook and a kitchen maid, Mrs. Patmore and Daisy. You have a footman named Alfred, and two maids, Ethel and Gwen, and they all are humans. And on the other side are the civil servants, and they're all halflings. Two of them are male, two of them are female. The two males are named Wazo and Flavis, and the two female halflings are Abigail and Rose. These guys are civil servants, paper pushers, city functionaries. They help keep the trains running on time here in Zobek, and they have been assigned to you to provide you information or where to find information, help you prepare for your diplomatic mission, and maybe run some errands for you guys if you need it. The second floor, I'll switch you guys to that. Pretty much consists of a lot of bedrooms and staff quarters. So this wing right here, which is accessible by the spiral staircase down off the entryway, leads up to the sleeping quarters of the top echelon of the household staff, such as the butler and the housekeeper and the underbutler and so forth. It does not connect to anywhere on the first floor, so for them to get anywhere on the upper floors, they have to go downstairs. And the rest of the upstairs is whatever you want it to be. And then this is a separate wing that's accessible, around the bend here. There's a staircase, and these can be whatever you want them to be as well. In the service level, where the kitchen is, there is a safe. And Mr. Carson gives Brynjar the key, and he has a key as well as the housekeeper, Mrs. Hughes. So you three are the only ones that have access to it, and that's where you can store any valuables or any equipment that you want to store there. And you already know that if you want to store any of your weapons or armor or any adventuring gear, you can also store it, at the quartermaster's area.
Just out of curiosity, is there a stable?
Sure. Let's say yes, of course. And that would probably be more off this area.
These statues of the Strauss family,
Mhm.
and Sorrel not being the brightest bulb, he kind of knows a little bit of the history of Zobek, his time he spent there. Are they still intact?
They are.
Based in it.
Some have been defaced a little bit,
Okay.
but not enough for you not to see the likenesses.
I'm wary of all statues.
Just curious.
Yeah. No angel. There are no angel statues in the garden
Good.
for you Doctor Who fans.
Just a suspicious mind flare.
So yeah, you guys have been
Just a
given some
special
really
grass
nice
sign.
gigs. Say that
All
again.
the
I'm sorry.
statues are sitting there like are all the statues in a pose of terror as if they were trying to shield their eyes?
No, these are regal poses.
Oh,
You know, homage to dearly departed, probably, or just a mark of vanity.
Well, there's a library here, right? I know we're supposed to figure out how. First, our first task, as I recall, is to determine how to get to the Shadow Realm.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this, and while Brynjar is also not what I would call a great mind, he does know enough that knows that the Strauss family was very involved in the Shadow Realm. So, is it possible one of these books has some information?
we could
And
also ask the shadow ambassador.
do we know where they are at this
Yeah,
point?
they have an embassy, right? Oh, isn't their embassy secret or something?
Yeah, their embassy is hidden. No one knows exactly where it is. The mayor has never visited it. The hidden ambassador has always come upon her summons, and she has rarely summoned him. She doesn't care much for, the hidden ambassador.
Oh, well, maybe she could invite him and to have a chat with us new ambassadors,
Yeah, maybe.
and then we could like bum a ride with him. Well, we don't know how often he goes back.
Or we tail
Quentin
him.
is actually going to look at the halflings. So you all are going to be assisting us with everything we need, right?
Yes, indeed. What can I do
Alright.
for you?
Yes. I would like to acquire all means of any documents stating on how political powers work, anything that, and he just starts going through a list of just different political papers he needs so he can get an idea of political structure here in Zobak, and anything that may be may help him with the political structure in this place we're going.
He says for the political structure in Zobek, he can explain that to you.
Very well.
And let me just go to the right section in my notes here. He basically tells you that the Free City Council replaced the Strauss Area Praetorian Council after the revolt 93 years ago. Prior to the revolt, it was pretty much just handpicked nobles who were allied to the House Strauss, and the Praetorian Council generally deferred to the Strauss Lord's wishes in running the city and spent most of their time scheming and plotting against one another. They also pilfered money from the city to fund their own projects and interest, and they imposed ruinous taxes upon the people who lived here, or large tariffs on goods entering the city. After the Great Revolt, the rebels imprisoned or executed any Praetorian council member they caught. The revolt's leader created the Free City Council to administer the city as the Praetorian Council should have done. And its standing council members are citizens who helped lead the revolt or who held strong interests in the city. So mostly guild masters, priests, and even kobolds. The council is charged with ensuring the welfare of the city and its citizens, protecting Zobek from all threats to its freedom, and maintaining the flow and profitability of commerce within the free city. The city councils also, or the consuls also choose the Lord Mayor from among their peers to serve a 10-year term, though most have held that position for life. The current Lord Mayor, Konstantin Olek, has been Lord Mayor since the revolt, and she is continually reelected by the council.
Oh, so it's just
Um,
tradition that keeps her in power for life. It's not like a rule.
Yeah, it's, every 10 years, her appointment comes up and she's reappointed, held in very high regard in Zobek, largely considered the architect for their economic success and growth. And, she oversees the administration of justice. She appoints all Zobek's judges. She establishes and provisions the army, and she appoints all knight commanders of the citadel, and is kind of the commander in chief of the free cities militant orders, except for the paladins of the Order of the Undying Sun. That particular order predates the city's independence, and this particular Zobek chapter only serves on the condition that their commander answer not to no one not of noble blood. In practice, the Order of the Undying Sun acts as an independent military force. So Konstantila Olek represents a growing dwarven influence in the city, and though it has limits, she serves, at the pleasure of the council.
Is the Undying Sun the place where we had that fight?
No, you were in the Temple of Kors in Peru.
Oh,
So the city was built on rebellion.
Yeah.
This is going to be very difficult. What do you know about the political structure of the Shadow King or whatever he's called?
He basically recounts the mayor talk about during the city council session. He suggests that you speak to a historian at the Collegium for specific information about Shadow Fae politics. All he knows is about the king and queen. Pretty much everything you guys know about. He knows that the Shadow Fae has had an embassy here for centuries, and she knows that or he knows that the court changes hands occasionally, and that the king himself is rumored to be quite mad.
Has this library been here since the Strauss family, or is it a newer one?
He defers that question to Mr. Carson, who is in attendance with him, and he says all of the books that were here, I'm told, that belong to the Strauss family have been moved to the archives at the city hall. All of the books here are generally new or donations or overflow from the city's public libraries.
So the
So no
Collegium.
point in checking these out, basically.
He says, he's fairly familiar with some of them, and they're largely just fiction, nonfiction books.
Well, we're just borrowing this place. If this becomes more permanent, we'll see that is fixed.
Wazo also kind of tells you about the current consuls, on the city council. He mentions a dwarf fighter named Ondli Firedrake, and he's the dwarven priest of Rava. Another one, a wizard named Orlando. He's the guild master of the Arcane Collegium. Lector and
Say his name
council.
again, please.
Orlando.
And his title
is Orlando. Is that collegium the arcane collegium? Is that a separate collegium than the historical collegium, or are they?
It
both
is the
same
Arcane Collegium, the only wizarding school in Zobek.
Okay, so the historian at the collegium would be the same collegium
Yes.
as the.
Yes, so we would go see this Orlando individual.
There's Radover Streck. He's a human wizard. He's probably one of the city's most famous alchemists. He also resides in the Collegium. There's Sir Joran Hawklove. He is the Field Marshal of the Free Army. He also has several other titles, that are military oriented. There's Quetelmak, Quetelmak. Quetelmak, I think is how that's pronounced, and you know him as the Kobold King of Kings.
So he's in the Kobold Ghetto, I assume, right?
Yep, that's where he resides.
Which is, if I remember, Brynjar's like obviously straining here, but he's like, if I remember correctly, the Kobold Ghetto was where the kobolds were once slaves, and when they were freed, they kind of formed their own part of the city, which is somewhat under, not the nicest place in town, but they are considered free citizens of Zobek like everyone else.
They are a free citizen. They do have representation on the council, and they're kind of a state within a state. The city relies on the King of Kings and his team to largely administer and maintain order for the kobolds.
Oh, but the King of Kings is a citizen and under the mayor.
He's a member of the council.
The
mayor is kind of considered a first among equals.
Oh.
But he has been on the council for 2 years, and the Wazo tells you that this seat fluctuates with the rapid rise and fall of Kobold King of Kings in the Kobold ghettos. That change hands often. So he says he's kind of been one of the King of Kings that's been on the council the longest.
At 2 years, got it.
Yeah. Another council member is Melancha Vendemic. She's a female human bard, and she is kind of the great orator, of the council. Her arguments are often carried out through mocking songs in taverns rather than confined to discussion with other consuls. She is generally regarded as the golden voice consul, and most capable of moving rhetoric in defense of causes of law and security. And she has a great ear for what discomforts or worries Zobekers. So she's one of the few councils that actually reaches out to the Zobek community to kind of understand their wants and needs. The other kobold on the council is Kekolina. She's one of the longer serving kobolds on the council, rather an oddity, but she represents the Dairy Mine. And that mine is the one that provides silver and wealth to the city. She is honored among the mine gang, has the ears of Saint Piran, Piran, who is the local patron saint of miners. She always keeps the kobold interests in view, and very, very protective of the kobolds. Maizi the First is also known as the Mouse King, and he is Lord of the Undercity. and he's known to be a corrupt rogue. He has a drooping mustache and a twitchy nose, and he seems to always have the news from the docks, the smugglers, and the river folk.
Is he human?
There's rumors that he's not human,
Oh,
But he seems human.
but he
he's
seems human.
bipedal. He's not a mouse, right?
Yeah, he's bipedal.
Well, he could be a skin changer. Though such things are common in the north. I
Or is
don't
he
know
a
what
rat
they're
folk?
like down here.
Rat folk.
Yeah, Wazo kind of whispers that he hears that he's a rat, but
We're
it's
rat.
never been confirmed.
Oh,
Yes. That would be my assumption. Skin changers, like I said, they're common in the north, but they're more accepted up there.
Yeah. And then you heard of Lady Marak, the daughter of the praetor of the Blue House. She is a priestess of Lada, and she is known for healing the poor and the sick, so the Mother Teresa, if you may, of Zobek. She's also a well-connected merchant. She sells timber, wool, and tin from Zobek to the dwarves, the Madgar, and especially the Perunala. The Amazons of the duchy find it more congenial to do business with a woman, so her ox carts and barges carry much of the Zobek trade to and from Perunala. The last two is Halsin Horvik. He's human, a bard. He's the fourth in his name, and the Horvitz family founder was once known as the merchant to the noble house Strauss, an honor they've not mentioned in generations. Horvitz deals in finished dwarven weapons and armor, as well as raw copper, flax, sheep mining tools, and he also trades heavily with the kobolds of Lilifur, which is unusual for a human merchant. And he sells them mithril iron and precious gems. And also takes their products and sells them across Zobek and the area. And then there's Selena Harbeck. She's a cleric of Rava. She is the guild mistress of Harbeck, who keeps the Weavers Guild disciplined and extremely productive. Selena opens the guild hall each day with her prayer to Rava, and she is on excellent terms with Council Horvitz and Lady Marak, and her principal suppliers of raw wool and flax. So she gets their raw materials from Lady Marak and Horvitz. The guild also creates fine tapestries that are especially popular and valuable in Bemia and the Seven Cities. And Harbeck often visits both sites on extended business tours and as an unofficial envoy for Zobek's interests in the south and west. You already met Lady Fennel Merrick, who's the mother of the counselor, and she's praetor of the Blue House, and which is essentially, Zobek's secret service. Despite her graying hair and 5 long scars that cross her face, she's known to dress very extravagantly, but she is a formidable opponent if you ever got into a fight with her. Wazo also talks about the military forces around here. It's primarily the Free Army, with assistance from the Griffin Knights and the Zobek Hussars. And the Free City can also count on the assistance from the Order of the Undying Sun and the Clankers, which live in the army. And that's pretty much what Wazo tells you about Zobek and its political structure.
Interesting. So, we need to come up with a I think there's a couple things we need to do personally. We need to come up with a reliable method to get to and from the Shadow Realm. That's one thing.
Yep.
Also, I know that there was some talk about possibly trying to meet with this hidden ambassador. That might be worthwhile to at least open communications. I would hate to have to rely on him for
Right.
transport, though.
Oh, if you could tell us how to do it, yeah, I guess that'd be better than waiting for him to go back home.
Oh, he's never going to tell us how to do it. Have you ever talked to a Shadow Fae?
No?
The best bet to find out any source of how to get to these Shadowlands would be starting at the Collegium, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah, the all the civil servants kind of nod up and down, say, there's a Professor Probel who is a historian and knows a lot about the history of Zobek since the Strauss times. He's a dwarf, was there during the Great Revolt, and he's kind of the city's unofficial historian as well. He may know a little bit about, the Shadow Realm and the deal the Strauss family had with the courts of the Shadow Fae.
I would very much like to talk to him.
Yeah, he also hands you a note from Captain Horvath Edelstein. He writes that the assassin's corpse is available at the morgue for you to examine if you wish. Also, the Shadow Fae corpses from the Temple of Kurs in Perun are also there. And he just basically says, drop by anytime that you want. He also lets you know that he has the temple under guard by City Watch, and they have not allowed the temple staff to clean up the scene of your battle or what has happened prior to that, or what the Shadow Fae has done in the area.
Also, learning as much as we can about our opponent is not a bad idea. We should go and check out those, I believe. Learn our enemy, see if they got any weaknesses to exploit, any strengths. You can find out much from a corpse.
Like where their funny bone is.
Quentin rolls his eyes.
So it's fairly late in the day, nighttime. The household staff shows you to your rooms and tells you that your belongings will be safe here. He will not allow anybody to leave this house with any of your personal belongings. And the civil servants have set up, some desks in the ballroom for now until you tell them where you want them to work from. They don't live in the in the residence. They have their own places to live, but they will be here during the daytime hours. Typical for government offices, which he indicates that they'll be here from 7 until 5. With some lunch in between. The house or the kitchen, or the cook always is one of the top chefs in Zobek, and she asks you if there's any particular dishes or dietary needs, and she wants to just make sure that everybody has the comfort food they need.
Need some good strong ale to start. Some mead, well made meads. Also on top of that, it's like perhaps some mutton. You know, honestly though, I'd love to taste some of these foods around here. That's one of the reasons I love travel.
She goes, that I can do.
If you have any pheasants or any type of gamey bird, I will much enjoy that. I'm a simple folk, bread pudding and such of the likes, but I too would like to sample the local dishes if that's fine.
She says, "No problem." And she goes. She's just kind of smiling, kind of worried that some particular dishes that she wasn't aware of or would have had to look up, but she is very accommodating and will always do her best to keep you guys happy. You know, she's one of those cooks that shows her love through food.
I tell her I don't eat peasants.
Pheasants.
Oh.
Pheasants. They're a bird. They're hunted for game.
I
It's
thought
quite
these were the dark
delicious.
times.
What about a cow? Sorrel needs meat. Lots.
Mm.
Of
She
meat.
goes, plenty, you know, pretty much any animal on the hoof is available here. And, you know, I'll visit the butchers every day and make sure that you have the freshest of ingredients, including vegetables and whatever else you need.
Sorrel shudders at vegetables.
Vegetables.
And she goes, of course, if you don't like it, you don't have to eat it. You know, that'll give me a clue on what to fix, what not to fix.
Meat over fire.
So you guys settle in for the night and you know, fall asleep.
Our first. Who takes watch?
Yeah, you guys can take a watch or not. You know, there is a contingent of 3 city watch on the outside of the manor, patrolling. You know, making sure you guys are safe.
Old habits, I guess.
Quentin's not actually going to go to sleep just yet. He's going to walk around in his room or actually walk around the place and just think to himself constantly. If anyone wants to join him, feel free.
Sorrel's going to do his workout routine in the middle of the ballroom. Hopefully there's
Right
plenty of
on.
space.
Wait, does this
Oh, yeah.
count as rest?
I called this workout the Ballroom Blitz.
Well, it's the ballroom is the room in the house, so you can do whatever you want to do in there. You know, practice sword fighting or workouts or yoga. You know, Pilates if you want. It's all there.
Yeah.
Can this
Bruniar
count
is going
as-
to sleep.
Is this officially long or short rests? Because then, for every hour, it actually changes my slots.
It'll be long rests.
Ooh, long rest! I love it.
Yeah. So while you're in Zobek, any sleeping will be long rests unless you know they're somehow interrupted.
I'll do always a long rest will be 8 short rests.
Yeah.
What if
who's wandering the manor?
I am.
All right. Where'd you like to go first?
Okay, we're starting in the ballroom. So basically, I'm just gonna I'm walking through here, and through the library,
Mm-hmm.
and then head. Just give you the idea of. Actually, I might be able to do this. I don't know if you can actually see this.
Yep, I see it.
This is the haunted time, isn't it?
That's 3 a.m. isn't it?
Haunted. The ghosts come out.
By the way, do you click every time you change directions?
I think you have to, don't you?
8 times.
And that's pretty. That's where I'm. That's my wandering path for the first floor.
Okay. Do you go out in the garden at all?
I'm assuming that there is a bay window, right, or some type of windows in this area. Is there? No, there's a doors. I cannot hear you.
Oh,
Sorry.
Is it right?
Glass doors right here, and
Okay.
here, and here. There you go.
All right. He's probably going to stop right here and look out the window at some point because he's just thinking to himself of how much mess we're in. So he's just constantly thinking. So if there's anything out there, I guess you would see it.
Yeah, here you see like ornamental fruits. To right here, you see a long bank of white roses that are in bloom. And you see a piece of a hedge right here. And then you do see more plants. This is kind of an upper garden right here, but you can't make them out in the dark.
Right. Did I see anything like what these other rooms were used for while I was going through here?
They're largely empty. They're very decorated. They look like various drawing rooms and parlors.
Sitting rooms, parlors.
Yeah. One of them looked like they were a bedroom at one time. So they were used as kind of a suite of rooms for someone. There are paintings all over, depicting various members of the Strauss family or landscapes of Zobek in the early days, Castle Strauss, other depictions of the Margrave Forest, and just general art as well. The books, if you peruse through the library, you do. It is confirmed that a lot of these books are newer. Mostly fiction, nonfiction books as well. And but essentially, these rooms can be whatever you wish them to be. Beyond that,
There's a lot of planning out to be.
yeah.
Very well. Mr.
Brynjar.
Carson. Sorry.
Oh, yes, sir.
Where should we go about the individuals if we wish to change some of these rooms?
He says, you can tell me exactly what and I will instruct the staff to furnish it as you wish.
Very well. Is there a room or areas that are connected to each other separate, but one I could use for my room, one for a study?
And he thinks for a moment.
If they're side by side, the better.
He says, bring you over to the upper floor map. And he suggests this area right here, which would make a nice bedroom and study for you.
Thank you. I will take this room. If you could get me a desk for the study, and any furnishings that could be accommodated for myself. I appreciate it.
And he says it shall be done by tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Brynjar, where do you want to be? This room's furnished. This room's furnished. This is kind of a sitting area here. And these two rooms are separate bedrooms that are furnished as well. And
yeah,
let's just call this the indoor privy right here.
Well, I was just thinking, maybe I'll
You
just
will take the
this.
privy. No, I'm kidding.
Is that the privy?
Yeah, there's a privy on that side too.
Yeah.
All right. So, Brynjar, you jump into bed, and it's a very comfortable bed. The most comfortable bed that you've been in quite some time.
I'm back.
Mostly goose down, warm covers. There's a wardrobe in there, a writing desk, a chest of drawers, and on each side of the bed, there is a nightstand with lamps, well oiled, already lit for your comfort. There is in the corner all the rooms, basically have some sort of heat source such as a coal stove or wood fireplace.
Like a pot belly.
And, yeah, or very elaborate. Ceramic on the outside. Kind of similar to
Smoke stove.
stoves that you saw in like German castle, stuff like that. That sat in a corner. And Brynjar, you settle in to sleep, and you're having your normal dream. Nothing unusual. Mostly it's been your past adventures or stories. But then a strange visitor appears in your dreams, and at first you just kind of see a silhouette, but you see very long pointy ears on one side, and his face finally comes into view, and it is the hidden Bastar's face. And he says, "Do come visit me at Winter's Kiss at your convenience for wine and conversation. Your friends are welcome as well." And you wake up.
Am I familiar with Winter's Kiss?
Probably not. You may need to ask the civil servants or the household staff.
Okay. Well, if it's not morning yet, I will wait till the morn and when the civil servants come back.
Sounds good.
Otherwise, because he did say at my convenience, so I don't feel the need to run there. But it's good to have a invite, so to speak.
What are the rest of you doing?
I am beyond the.
I'm just short
I'm probably
resting.
just going to settle in for the night.
Yeah, so dude goes is bad. Pretty.
Sorrel finishes.
Also,
with the
Brainier also sees a talking teacup and tea kettle.
And some rose underneath a piece of glass.
Yeah.
There we go.
There it is.
That was such a good show. I missed it. It was almost like taking some illicit drug without having to take an illicit drug. Twin Peaks.
Absolutely.
Okay. As you make your way down stairs towards the dining room, you smell breakfast. And when you walk in, there's eggs and breakfast meats, fruit, like apples, pears, some strawberries. There is loaves of bread and plenty of water and juices.
I'm going to sit down.
And it is there's plenty of food.
I kind of look at it. To the chef, thank you.
And basically you got the footman, Carson, the butler, the under butler there, and they're handling. Carson says, "I will pass that on to the chef. Please enjoy yourself." And he goes, "Sir, is it okay if the civil servants partake of the meals that we prepare for you?"
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
He says, and he snaps his
He's
finger.
kind of half eating something as he says, absolutely.
And so the 4 civil servants who got in early, come and join you, and they are tucking in for a nice breakfast with you.
Quentin's going to bring out some quill and ink. So, while I'm eating, mind if I get some maps of Zobek? That would be very helpful. I'd like to strive them into my own writings, please, so I don't be writing on the local cartographer's works.
Also, if it's like, are you familiar with a location called Winter's Kiss?
He goes, "Oh, Winter's Kiss. That is, well, there's two places that are called Winter's Kiss. One is a spice shop that used to be the Strauss Counting House. And the other is the name that is known of the Shadowfey Embassy. And I have no idea where that is.
I would be safe to assume it's located directly at this alchemical. It was an alchemical shop.
Spice.
Not that I'm aware of. It's
Would
just
you
a
say it
spice
was
shop.
this a spice
It-
shop?
Yeah, spice shop. It used to be the Strauss Counting House, where all the and tariffs and all revenues were taken and counted and accounted for, and then the proceeds were generally divvied up between the Strauss family, who then used that money to pay other people that were in favor with them.
Show me where the spice shop is on the map. I kind of, I say, I received, I believe, an invitation last night while I slept about from the hidden ambassador to meet him at Winter's Kiss. Now, of course, he means the embassy, I'm sure. But since we have no other leads other than the strange fact that this spice shop has the same name, I'm tempted to check that out.
In my opinion, that is there's no coincidence. That's just too much of a coincidence, if you ask me. The history of the place, the spice shop, the name. If they're trying to make it hidden, it's making it too obvious. But I wouldn't put it behind them. Good start.
Yes.
All right, so I'm looking up the locations.
Also, I will be. They did hand us a map that we can look at, right?
Yeah, you got a full map of the
Okay.
city. Essentially, it's what you see up there.
All right. So yeah, Quentin is literally taking one of his parchments and he's literally redrawing the map onto his own.
All right, so let me consult the oracle here.
You also see him doing notes and stuff like that on his map, of course.
Sorry, guys, I had this written out, but I just don't know where in my notes I put it.
Take your time.
Yeah, you're good.
To the spice shop. Yay.
The spice must flow.
Whoever is in charge of the spies is in charge of the world.
That's right.
And she's in the basement.
I think it's notable in the comics. I believe Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, calls himself a humble dealer of spices at times.
I believe that's where I got it from. I can't remember. I just got that from something. I can't remember.
Okay, so one of the civil servants tells you that that the spice shop is located near the market district, and it was also called the Shadowfey Exchange at one time, and also called the Strauss Counting House. And so on the map, it is number 19, right there.
And where are we, roughly?
Let's just say around here.
All right. I kind of just like settled my stuff down. We need a plan for today. Given given that we don't have all the time in the world till sundown, which one should we go first? What we would definitely like to go to. I would definitely like to go to this Collegium, and I would definitely like to go to looking at my notes. I would definitely like to go check out these bodies, learn what we can about our enemy. By the way, where'd you get that name from, if you don't mind me asking?
What name would
It
that
came
be?
to my dream, to me in
Oh.
my dream, and I don't. It's like, but it wasn't. I don't think it was one of my prophetic ones. I think it was more magecraft, and other things. Because it very much, it was not. It wasn't a truly. It wasn't as scattered, or it was definitely more direct than I would expect from a normal dream.
Let's see.
Since I saw the ambassador appear and tell me to come meet him at the location, and to bring my associates should I so desire.
I look at the others like, just giving them a weird look. It's like,
No, this is what Brynjar does. It happens.
yes, I recall him saying something about he did foresee the attack, didn't he not? It happened the other day, or yesterday, was it? Times pass fast.
Also, if it's a dream message, some of us don't dream.
Yes, perhaps that is why he came to me and not one of the other ambassadors.
I believe you. I have no reason to doubt you. So we'll definitely go by this place. But which order should we take?
I actually think we should let's check out the Collegium first and just start the ball rolling. There is my theory.
Go to
And
the
we can hit that.
Collegium,
Mhm.
the morgue, and then head to this Winter's Kiss, was it?
Yes.
So
Winter's Kiss
Rose,
was-
so Rose, who is taking down a stack of pancakes, suggests that you speak with Professor Probble at the Collegium. Wazo mentioned to you last night that was he's a historian and a longtime resident of Zobek.
All right, very well.
She goes, of
Are there any?
course, you could speak to anybody else. She tells you that students tend to hang out at the Hedgehog. Students of the Collegium. The Hedgehog Tavern is in the Collegium district. They also mention the Book Fetish, which is a purveyor of rare books. And they said there's magic shops all over Zobek. So if you need any information there, they may cooperate with you or may not.
Very well. So, guess we eat up, head out. I would definitely like to talk to this Professor Probble. He's going to seems like an interesting chat.
Alrighty.
Okay. Yes. Let us go. I mean, assuming we all want to stick together.
Absolutely.
Considering the violence, it might make sense to do such.
So how are you going to be kitted up? You going to be armored up, all your weapons? Are you going to travel light?
Oh, I forgot to state ahead of time. I'm going to leave my bows and arrows behind here for this day,
Okay.
and I spent my time binding to. Do I still have that short sword? I do not. Is it good for me to set? Is it okay for me to acquire a short sword from an armory and just a regular short sword and bind to that?
Sure.
Okay. I'll add that in then. That's what I
Not gonna
did.
do
So
it adventure style, full plate, and all within 5 feet of each other.
I'm definitely I'm gonna have my nice looking robe. I look nice as all the time, and then I have the just the breastplate underneath my robes and mantle, so I look fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I should. I can't imagine Brynjar going with like no armor, but I don't know if I should be fully armored up or not.
Yeah,
So
it's really up to you. I'm just asking out of curiosity. You're in a metropolitan area that rule of law pervades here, but it's not uncommon to see folks walking around the city kitted up. But also you see folks lightly armed. Some carrying swords, maybe just daggers. They're always visible. The City Watch are always kitted up, with their plates and their various weapons.
Yeah, I think I will. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I am going to wear my armor, just because that's my nature, and I'm going to carry Dragorox, I should say, with me. But I don't think I'm going to carry my full assortment of various gear at this point. I'm just I'm not carrying around my haversack with all my weapons and whatever. I'll have my primary magic items with me, but I'm gonna leave the majority of it behind for this kind of wander around the city thing.
Sorrel kind
Yeah,
of sees himself
same
as more
here.
of a bodyguard, so he will definitely have armor, shield, and his axe. But other than the rest of his gear, crossbow, that kind of thing, his supply sack that he won't bring.
Yeah, so Duke's
Yeah.
got his leathers and his 2 daggers.
So it sounds like everybody's going to have some sort of armor on and some weapons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, I got my boot knife. That's the only weapon visible.
All right.
I'm assuming it hasn't been enough time. Real quick, it has not been enough time for the cloaks to be made of the skin.
No, probably a few more days.
Yeah, I figured as much. Okay, just checking.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and those are
Can,
substantial furs that'll keep you nice and warm.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the armor, if we grabbed it from the quartermaster, does it have any sort of official Zobekian heraldry on it? Just curious. Doesn't have to.
Some of it does. Some of it is pretty generic. So you're welcome to just state, well, we can do 2 things. We can role play a session or a encounter with the quartermaster where you check out your equipment, or we can just take this offline, and if you want a Zobek symbol on your armor, just consider it there.
Yeah, well,
keep it simple.
I'll leave that to the group. I don't mind either way.
Okay.
I'll be wearing my armor, but my hat will disguise me as wearing poofy robes.
Okay, cool.
I forgot to add that ring. But yes.
Well, yeah. So I guess we'll go to. I guess our first stop with them is by the quartermaster, just to pick up some items, and then go from there to the Arcania. What is the
Collegium?
Arcane Collegium.
Oh, Collegium. Thank you. The Arcane Collegium. Then I think it was the morgue, and then it was the Spice, the Winter's Kiss place.
Will we smell like Shadow Fae gore when we meet the ambassador?
I'm presuming that you guys cleaned up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I look noble.
Yeah.
Oh, I figured we cleaned up.
No, I mean, because we're going to the morgue and we might be poking around their bodies.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Don't one of you have spells that take care of that?
Oh, yeah. That's true. I can clean up a cubic foot at a time.
All right, so you guys head to the Citadel, where the quartermaster's shop is. He has a very large space, kind of in the subterranean levels of the Citadel. And you are met at the gate by a couple of members of the Free Army, and they tell you that they have been expecting you and escort you to the quartermaster's office. When you get down there, you just see big double doors with the letter Q on it. And when you open it, there's this big long counter, and you see behind the counter a person kind of pacing around, making busy work, looking at records, and all you see is the top of his head, or the top of the head. And when you open the door, you know it makes the there's a bell attached to it, and it starts ringing, and the guy stops, and then you hear these steps on footsteps on like small stairs, where he's climbing to a ramp that brings his torso above the countertop, and he looks at you guys. He goes, "Who might you all be, and what can I do for ye?"
It's like Brynjar's like comes forth. He like says, Brynjar. It's like, I am Brynjar the Blessed, ambassador extraordinaire and
Plenipotentiary.
ambassador.
Quentin chuckles.
He goes, "Ah, yeah, that's a mouthful. Welcome, ambassador. I've been expecting ye. And these are the other two ambassadors and your special envoys?"
Quite.
Quentin Still, at your service. Ambassador Quentin Still.
He bows. He says, "Q, at your service." And he goes,
All right.
"I have been given my orders, and I've got a number of things for you." He goes, "First, I have these vouchers, and they are worth 800 gold pieces in any store in Zobek, particularly the magic shops." He says, "As far as anything else, I've got everything. I've got some souped up weapons and armor and shields. Those are basically the only magical items I have. I do have consumables, rations. Just tell me what you need, and I'll have Carlos fetch it for you."
I rack my knuckles on my breastplate. Got a upgraded version of one of these.
He looks at your breastplate, and he goes, he stands on the countertop and hops down, and he pulls out this knotted rope, and he starts measuring you. And then he goes down to your feet, and he goes, "Pardon me," and he goes, whoop, and hits you in the crotch. And he takes some notes, and he flips through a book, and he goes, "Yep, I've got breastplate that'll fit ye. One is very shiny gold looking, almost brass, but it's very shiny. The other stuff I have is black with the Zobek symbol on it."
I will take the. Which one of those two are the finest? Preferably defense over beauty.
He says, he looks at his book again. He goes, "Shiny ones +2. The
I'll
black
take the shiny
armor." Okay. "Carlos, get the shiny breastplate." And he starts running back, and you hear footsteps, that start loud and just kind of fade away. And he goes, "Carlos will fetch that for you, no problem." And he kind of just does a cartwheel, back over the counter and on his platform.
I like
"What's
this
that?"
guy.
He goes, "Anything else you need?"
Well, I would be interested in some. I'm aware of heavy armor. I like basically put here. If you have any magical, either some splint. I kind of put motion at what I'm wearing now, or I suppose plate or some sort of magical armor of this type. Um,
He kind of looks at your armor and he says, "Oh, that armor's seen some battle." And
it has.
he goes, "I have some splint that could tell you some stories if it could talk." And he says, "I have it's not in great condition, but I have a set of +2 splint, and I have a set of +1 that is brand new. Has not seen a lick of battle."
Interesting. Brynjar's kind of puts his head back as he's thinking about it. He's like,
He said, "You know,
no,
the +2 stuff we could probably polish up a bit. You know, maybe buff out some of the scratches. You know, the sword marks. But." He goes, "Regardless of the way it looks, it will protect ye."
yes, no. I'm trying to decide what would be best for dealing with these. Part of I feel like part of me feels like I should be more diplomatic, but in the end, he kind of like uh, gestures at himself and especially at these small scars down his face and stuff. I look rather worn by battle anyway, and I would probably look quite out of place in brand new
He
splint.
goes, "If you want to look very noble like," he goes, "I have some breastplate and full plate armor that is dark gray with gold filigree all over it. It looks pretty poncy. I don't find you to be pretty poncy, but I've got this stuff. If you want it, we can make sure it fits you, and you can take what pieces you want." And he goes, "That
Yes,
stuff is +1."
yes. I think I'll. He kind of looks back at his fellow ambassadors and special envoys, and he's like,
If it
"What do you
helps
think?"
at all, when it comes to appearance, as long as you dress the parts and act the parts, I find that it's accepted. Some of the greatest politicians that I have seen are battle worn.
He says, "Aye, that is true." He goes, "You always should dress for the job you want, not the job
Precisely.
you have."
Very well.
If you whatever you can my advice is if you want to prioritize armor over fancy, you could probably spruce yourself up at one of the tailors to add a little bit of flair to the armor later on.
He
A
goes,
bit of
"I definitely. So if you take the battle worn stuff, you can definitely have something made that will cover it, and you'll look beautiful on the outside, but well protected on the inside."
take from myself. I use a cloak of very nice quality to cover up my armor. I still look the parts, look quite nice, but I also am well defended and still dressed well underneath the armor as well. So
Well, and I'm still looking forward to one of those cloaks. But I say very well. I think I'm going to go with the splint. If it's well worn and keeps me protected, that's good. Also, I know that you have other items here. Perhaps some a couple of scrolls with uh, the revivify magics in them, just in case you can't be too careful in times like these.
He goes, "No scrolls here, but you can go to a magic shop that specializes in spell scrolls, That's where you can use
the
your
voucher.
voucher.
Got
Yeah.
it. Perfect.
Yeah, and this is a magical voucher. Once the merchant will be able to deduct the amount from the scroll, and coins will fall out of it. Assuming that he has the right instrument to do that, and then it'll magically change its a number on the document to reflect what has been deducted by the merchant.
Brynjar looks at it scans. What sorcery is this?
The finest magics, apparently. I would like to learn how to do that.
Yep. The city spares no expense when it comes to equipping its military.
That sounds great. That should be all I need. I am quite happy with my axe and shield. They've been with me through a lot.
Yeah. He goes, Carlos, bring Lemmy Splint with you when you come back. And you hear in the distance some cussing. He goes, damn it, make up your mind, old man. And he goes, and he looks at you, Brynjar. He goes, you change your mind about this armor. Come back before you leave. You can exchange it for it. And if you want to leave anything here, we will store it safely for you upon your return. And he starts filling out some paperwork, and he hands a receipt over to you, Brynjar, and which character got the other stuff?
I got a breastplate. Yeah.
Okay, and he hands you both a receipt, sign, and you go, you need to bring it back, or we'll send you a bill.
Here we go. Hold on. If you help me off with this, I'll leave this here for now. My other breastplate, I don't need to be carrying this around the town, would you?
No. He takes it and brings out a tag, writes your name on it, and he goes, "This will be safely cared for, and while it's here, we'll do some maintenance on it if need be. It'll be nice and well cared for when you get back."
Thank you, good sir. Appreciated most kindly. Thank you.
I'm here to serve you. And he goes, you need, got the basic stuff here. In fact, these are combat healing potions, very compact. He pulls one out from under the counter, and it's like a tube. He goes, instead of carrying around glass liquid, this is a gel. And all you do is just squeeze it in your mouth, and it dissolves in your mouth, and you'll start feeling some tingling of the good kind, and it'll heal you for, at least keep you alive, keep you from dying. He says any of the higher stuff, those will be available at magic stores, and your voucher will take care of those just fine. So I got plenty of those. So if you come back here before you leave, I can hand you out as many as you want.
Thank you.
And he goes, "Oh, those consumables, those will be deducted from your expense money. I've been ordered by the Lord Commander to make sure I keep track of consumables, and that way we're not breaking our budget. We're accountable to all the citizens of the city of Zobek, and I keep a very careful record." All right. Well, if we're done here, I'll see you later.
It was good meeting you, sir.
It's been my pleasure. Come back anytime. Oh, Gogurt.
Nice.
That's funny. All right. You guys.
I was thinking water bottleless, like those water bottleless water.
Oh yeah, or those gels that the bicyclists ride on their long rides and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, off to the Collegium, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Off to the Collegium.
Right.
We're not going to be skipping all the way there in song and dance, are we?
Only if you want to. All right, you make your way through town. The Collegium is on the eastern side, the northeastern side of Zobek. And as you're passing through, you see parchments attached to multiple buildings as you walk down. And you also hear loud shadow fae and goblin at the various squares or intersections of the road, shouting one edict or another. The rumblings of the people, are just really annoyed. Some are mumbling, why isn't the government doing more about these shadow fae and these stupid edicts, that we don't feel that we're beholden to. Most of the regulations that the shadow fae have been imposing have been annoying but manageable, and all of them have the shadow fae's ambassador's name on. One of them is a ban on cursing. Another one was declaring an end to the Festival of Light. And people are a little annoyed about that one because it's not even summertime. It's autumn, and the Festival of Light isn't until midsummer, and they don't know why they're even bothering to ban that right now. You also hear people talking about they're not all sleeping very well. They're very tired. Sometimes they wake up and their voices are gone, for days at a time. You see other proclamations prohibiting the worship of the city's patron goddess Rava, and generally the city is restless. You make your way down this road right here and along this route, and you pass by a large building, that hedgehog on it. It's a sign with a picture of a hedgehog, and underneath it says tavern. And you make your way down this street a little further until you get to the entrance to the Collegium.
Hedgehog Tavern?
Yes, the Hedgehog Tavern was the place in which the students here seem to collaborate and get together, have a drink or two, by my understanding.
Yep, that's 44 on the map, and 42 is where the Collegium campus is.
If we ever want to talk to the students or to delve a little bit more into the Arcana, why on a relaxed location, probably that's on a more relaxed level, probably going to the Hedgehog will be our best bet.
Yes, very well.
And so you walk into the Collegium. You see an information desk, and there what appears to be a young human staffing the desk. And she looks up and says, "Can I help you?"
Yes, yeah, we're here to see Professor Problem.
Ah, yes. And she whips out a piece of paper that has a little on it, draws a little X where you're at right now, and draws a little circle around where Professor Proble's office. She goes, "It's a little hard to find, but you go up these stairs. You walk across to the other side of the first floor. You take the spiral staircase here and go up one more, and then you walk midway across the third floor, and then there's another spiral staircase that takes you down to a floor in between the two floors. And at the end of that hall is Professor Proble's office." So so you guys make your way up there, and you get a little lost. It takes you probably a good 30 minutes to find it. And of course, you ask for directions, and they point you to the right place, and you finally make it to his front door. And then there's a brass plaque, that's kind of hanging cockeyed. One end fell off the nail attaching it, and it just says Proble on it.
So this guy won't be a problem. I look to the others, smiling. Never mind. Let's go in.
All right, you bang on the door, and you hear a voice from the inside. Yeah, come in.
I enter.
And you open it, and you see this fairly large room. Not maybe half the size of the mayor's office that you're in, and this guy practices the Lair method of filing. There are just piles and piles of books and papers all around, and you see a short creature walk around from one of the stacks and says, "What can I do for you?" And when you look at him, you see that he's a dwarf. Has a fairly long, doesn't have a beard, but wears, round glasses, and he just kind of smiles at you. He goes, "I'm Probble."
Nice to meet you, Mr. Provel. I am Quentin Steele, Ambassador Quentin Steele. These are my compatriots. We are here to talk to you about various things regarding the Winter King, I believe it was called, and the Shadow Realm, or the Shadow
He goes,
Lands.
"I know some things about the Shadow Realm. Sure. Do you want to know?"
Very well. Quentin will rummage through a small bag and pull out some quill and ink, set it on a table. First off, what can you tell us about just by yourself? What do you know about so far on the dealings within the realm? How's the political structure, etc.?
Of the Shadow Realm?
Yes. This underneath the wizard's court, or if that's not what you're referring to.
He goes, "Well, I guess I'll start you with my 101 lecture." And let me just get the right notes here. He says the Court of the Shadow Fae is a nation that comprises of many cities. He says the Shadow Fae is essentially a reflection of Midgard. So you wouldn't be surprised if you come across a town or a city that is a reflection of a town or city that you've been in before. But it won't look identical. It'll be probably laid out, very similar, but some buildings may be the same. Some buildings may be rubble, but it's a kind of a mirror reflection of the world of light that is comprised of Midgard. He says it's probably over 1 million that live there. All of them, pretty much Shadow Fae, with some goblins that they use as workers. There are Dark Fae, as well. And but he says the Shadow Fae are very numerous, and they don't really identify well with anybody who is a non. In fact, they would call you a pet or a cockroach, if you're not Fae. He says one of the main cities is called Coramel. He says there's Hunt's Retreat, there's Dalliance, there's Wormwood, there's the court itself. And he says they largely worship Sarasta, who is the patron of the Shadow Fae, Anu Akma, Cherun, the Hunter, and Loki. And from time to time they trade, mostly in secrets, but they also sell their Fae wine their metalwork, which is very high quality, jewelry, illumination magic, and shadow magic. But one of the strangest things that they trade in is memories. They value memories of others, and they pay
Interesting.
dearly for it.
Memories.
He goes, so that's kind of the 10,000 foot. He goes,
How about the physical properties of the realm? We've had a lot of conversation about if one was in the realm, would one be able to, for example, eat or drink the food and water, or would that be a bad thing?
well, he said the water is definitely disgusting looking, but it will quench your thirst, but you may get sick off of it. It depends, but it's always better to bring your own if you're not sure. It was as far as the food, there are animals that don't look very appetizing, but you can eat them and sustain yourself, through hunting.
And perhaps most importantly, do you know any ways or any ways to get to and from the shadow realm around here in Sobek?
He says, I know that those exist, but I could not tell you where.
Do you know anybody that might be? Do you yourself, or do you know anybody within the college that might have experience dealing with the shadow magics and what have you, that might be able to assist us
He
in this
goes,
matter?
most definitely. He goes, I know of your appointment. He says, Otterly Riverbend, who is a Shadow Fae wizard here at the Collegium. She is the current master of star and shadows and shadow magic. But she's also good friends with Ambassador Thaumandarine. And he says, if you're not comfortable talking with her, you can talk with her predecessor, Cyril of Morgau. He's a human wizard, retired, lives about 3 days away from here in the mountain. He's an expert in shadow magic and the shadow realms.
And he's from Morgau. Interesting.
Yes.
His name is Sarin.
Sarel, Sariel. Sarel of Morgau. Very powerful wizard. Friend of mine. I can give you a letter of introduction.
That'll be
That
much
would be
appreciated.
appreciated.
Yeah. He says, Otterly, I haven't been able to warm up to that one yet. I don't know if I'll be much of assistance to you there.
We should try her one way or another, to just the brevity of time. If we can't get anywhere with her, we'll have to go see Sarah of Morgal. Sorry.
He goes, one thing to know about the Shadow Fae, other than their elitist attitude, is that they enjoy intense emotions of suffering and loss from others. And they barter in such emotions. There's these memory filters that can store the memories of others. And the more tragic or the more emotional the memory is, the more value it has.
When you said that they value the memories of others, does that mean they like hearing the story, or will the person lose their memory and give it to them?
Lose it.
They lose their memory. And he says Shadow Fae generally, and the only way for them to feel is to consume memories of others.
If it's
So-
the tragic one and sad things, and they could make excellent therapists. Everybody wins.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that some hurtful memories sometimes are valuable to individuals in order to keep going with their current goals. Quentin seems
I,
spaced out when he says that.
are there there's you mentioned that there's dark fae, is that, and that's different from shadow fae?
Yeah. They would be in Midgard. They'd be kind of an analog to the Drow in Forgotten Realms.
The Shadow
Oh,
Fae.
I thought the shadow fae were the drow.
They are, but
They are. They
there are dark fae as well,
They're
and
darker.
they're not black as night as in Forgotten Realms, but they do exist.
And they're
Not much.
more sinister.
I don't know. I haven't found much on those yet.
Oh, okay. But
Maybe that'll come out in the new Kickstarter.
oh,
You know,
The
they are going to
resist-
be they're going to be expanding the Drow race, so I presume the dark fae will be more Drow-like.
the Shadow Fae. They are a Fae ancestry and share the characteristics of which. Is that to be correct to assume?
Absolutely correct. You know, they have the big, long, pointy ears like the fae that live in the light, or the elves that live in the light. And the only
Brynjar does
difference,
this.
yeah, the only
I
difference with
kind
the
of
shadow.
just slowly look to Brenner and just like shrug at him and just point at his own ears.
He goes, shadow fae are definitely pasty white. Some have horns of various sizes, and you know, some look like ram's horns, and some look like little goat horns.
Very
some of them
well.
have no horns, right? So we wouldn't stand
Yep.
out.
Yep, some have no horns.
Very well.
I see.
Is that looked down upon?
I don't
Not
think
to-
horns depict status. I think it's just a physical characteristic similar to tieflings.
Yep, he says quite right. Size of the horns doesn't give you any more status. It's basically your rank in this society.
Oh, that's good to know. I take an action to create really long horns.
I don't know. They always say size doesn't matter, but I'm not so sure.
It does. It always does.
When I was asking about the Fae ancestry, is that we are known to have magical capabilities. Those are related to the ancestral line. Is it to assume that these individuals have that same resistances?
Definitely. You know, it's tough to charm one of them. You know, they are immune to some magic, but not all. One thing that the Shadow Fae prize as sport, actually, it's two things.
We
You
lost
know,
somebody.
hunting and dueling are quite popular activities in the Shadow Realm.
You said that
duly noted.
Hunting with hounds, I assume.
Yep. They have these big pony-sized dogs, vicious beasts. I never want to stand face to face with one of those dogs, those hounds of the night.
You said that the shadow realm is sort of analogous to our world. So where there's something big like Zobek, then there's probably a city there that's equivalent to Zobek.
Says that tends to be the case, yeah.
It's like a
Oh.
mirrored kind of plane, then I assume. What's in here is there, it's just slightly different, I assume.
Yeah, I assume that all our human statues in this city would not be human in their city.
Obviously.
The best analogy I could give you is when you're standing in the sunshine and you see your shadow. Everything that comprises that shadow is a reflection of you, but not an exact match. And that is the Shadow Realm. They prefer twilight. They don't live in darkness. They don't live in full light. They prefer twilight.
I see.
He says there are some good ones, but most of them Unless you have pointy ears or some sort of fey heritage in you, they'll likely ignore you. Pretend you're not
Right.
even there.
These memories you were speaking about, you said they were stored in a type of thing, and I guess that's a very high form of currency, then. And we could use that to get an upper hand if we need it, correct?
He says wealthy shadow fae collect it like fine wine. You know, it's stored in these large crystal bottles, and many of them can partake of the same liquid and share, you know, the same emotions or memory that's contained within the bottle.
Would, if we wanted these bottles, if we wanted to extract one of our memories to use as a sort of collateral or some types of currency to get the favor of one or the other, would we be able to acquire one from you, or would be a way to learn how to do this? Or you know where I'm going down this line, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, totally. He pretty much tells you that he has no supply of that, and it is not aware of anybody in Zobek which has the skill to craft such a product, except for the Master of Stars, or former Master
Very
of
well.
Stars.
Interesting. And you know, let's be honest here. We obviously something is already going amiss with this. We've heard reports in the street of people claiming that they've slept poorly and are forgetting things, if I understand correctly.
Yep, I myself have experienced that. One day I was blind for a whole damn day. Drove me nuts. Imagine how hard it is to read.
All right, or anything in the matters.
He says, I also heard that the street of tailors and the courtyard in the Green District near the market disappeared for an entire day. It was almost as there was just this hole in the ground where, you know, raw land used to be. It looked like it was nothing was ever constructed over it. It was the damnedest thing I've seen.
If I were to make a estimated, just crazy ramble of a guess, I would say the realms are trying to merge each other. Strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
He goes, I've lived in this city for 200 years. I was there during the tyranny of the Strauss. I was there during the Great Revolt. Nothing like this has ever happened in my lifetime. And he goes, I'll have to admit, I'm scared.
I don't blame you. I'm starting to wonder what kind of mess that I got myself in. I do have another question referring to the Arcana, the base magics within the realm. I do use a form of magics myself that resemble that of darkness, these shadows. Would that be affected in any way, shape, or form, casting these known spells within this realm or plane?
He goes, you know, spells that involve fire or he says they could be affected in the Shadow Realm. Most definitely.
But if I was able to, I don't know how to explain. I just I'm just gonna go ahead and he like holds out his hand and summons a shadow blade.
Mm-hmm.
Something like this, and it's just a shadowy blade. You think this will be affected at all?
And he goes, that's something granted by a patron.
Yes.
He kind of rubs his finger and he goes, I don't believe it will. No.
Very well. Thank you.
That is a gift from a powerful entity, and I don't think the Shadow Realm will affect that at all. Any other questions?
Quentin goes, kind of looks at the blade. You know about this? What this is? The shadow. I'm holding up Shadow Blade, the packed weapon. If you have anybody here in the Collegium that can help me with this, I don't know its origins itself. I found a artifact in a ruin. They gave me this. I don't remember making much of a pact with it.
He looks it over. He says, well, this is largely a school of wizards. He says, perhaps the Master of Stars could help with that.
Thought as much. Appreciated. Thank you.
And the only reason I'm saying that, because you describe it as a shadowy weapon. And, you know, if it had to do with shadow magic at all, they would be the ones to know.
Very well, thank you. I kind of just disseminate it.
And he's going to tell you more about the memory.
That'll be good to know. But yeah, I just disseminate the weapon. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I gotta look to the others and nod.
So he tells you the memory filters, and that's filter with a pH. You know, it's kind of like a strange bottle. He says a ritual is cast upon those willing to sell their memories or trade their memories. And he says a lot of people who want to get rid of a painful memory will definitely be willing to sell that. Then there's other memories of like a first kiss or first love, or you know, memory with a parent, you know, that are more valuable because the person holding that memory tends not to want to lose those memories. They also value memories of tragedies, you know, executions, and the feelings that you felt when a loved one died, or there was an execution you witnessed, or a battle that you fought in. The memories are very, and anybody who drinks it will experience, you know, the emotion from, you know, just a sip. And they tend to be sold in, you know, large bottles, and Shadow Fae collect it like fine wine, you know.
Interesting.
Do
And
these individuals that drink from these fillers, do they remember the deal they made? Are they aware they lost a memory?
they are aware, yes. But once they barter their memory, gone, it can never be recovered.
And when someone who owns a memory consumes it, then that memory is gone forever from the world?
Yeah. Once the bottle is depleted, that memory is lost. She says when the Shadow Fae drinks, they drink them out of these, you know, tiny little cordials. You don't need to drink a lot to experience the emotion contained in the liquid. So he says, well, the day is getting long. Do come back anytime you have questions.
Very well.
Use
Been
me as a
a-
resource to direct you to certain parties in the Collegium to speak to. He goes, the current master of stars. She's a tough one. She's a Shadow Fae.
Very well. Where would be able to find her? Did he say that actually already?
Yeah, he gave you directions on where to find her.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen her in a few days. But then again, we don't make it a point to be friendly with one another. I try. I'm a happy guy.
Well, anybody else have anything that they like to add?
Nothing at this point.
No.
I think-
Mm.
All right. Well, good day to you all. Happy hunting.
Thank you for your services and your time. I appreciate it. If we need anything else, you will hear from us.
I'm at your service. Good day to you all. So you guys spent a lot of time with Professor Probble. He told you lots of stories. He went through the history of Zobek, starting from when the Strauss family took over rule of the area. Do any of you own the Zobek Gazetteer?
I believe I may.
I
Yes.
do.
I
have it
don't
on
even
my
know.
computer.
I do.
All
Uh,
right. I am going to paste a few pages out of that in the chat.
Okay.
Let
Let's
me
see
just
what it is.
get to it. So I'll let you guys read that at your convenience. But it's pretty much, the history going back about 1,000 years to today.
Okay. And that's pretty much what he related to.
Okay.
Yeah, he related all that information.
Okay.
So it talks about the Strauss family. It talks about the arrangement that was made between the Strauss family and the Moonlit King. It also talks about how the Strauss family kind of cheated their way into maintaining rule Strauss by finding a little loophole. And there's some interesting things in there. So yeah, it's like 4 pages. It would take me like 20 minutes to read it to you.
I have a feeling if we were able to talk this king into leaving us be, we'll be finding one of those loopholes.
Perhaps.
Yes. We just have to get one of you guys declared the true heir of the Strauss family, and then work from there. Or maybe the mayor. Anyway,
Didn't they say there was a member of the Strauss family still around, or
they still
Mhm.
exist.
Yep.
They still
They did.
exist.
There is one who was a child at the time of the Great Revolt named Evander.
Yeah.
He would be well into his 90s by now,
Woohoo.
but Professor Probble told you that if you saw him, he'd look like he's in his 40s.
very well. Did they say where we would be able to find this individual?
No.
Nobody knows.
Nah.
Lovely.
Isn't he in here? No, just kidding. Sorry. Keep going.
All right.
So, where to next, everybody?
Well, since we're here, I guess we'll talk to, if we can find her, the illumination magic.
Oh, shadow magic.
Shadow magic.
The Master of Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how helpful she will be, but she might be able to at least help us with the whole Winter's Kiss location thing. Or at least make sure we're not barking up the wrong tree. If she is friendly with the with the hidden ambassador.
So you make your way to the part of the college where Master Otterly's lab is, for lack of a better word. You knock on the door, and it is opened by a student, a human student named Zeke. And he
Zeke.
goes, "What can I do for you?"
We're looking for the what's her name?
We're looking
it was
for
Her name-
Utterly
Otterly
Riverbend.
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 And he goes,
Utterly Riverbend.
I'm afraid Master Riverbend is not here. Would you like to leave a message?
Yes. Well. Could you relay to her that there's some individuals here interested in her knowledge? The ambassadors came by of Zobek, wishing to seek her counsel.
He goes, yes, I've heard of you. He goes, I will give her that message.
And
And
if she is just in and not just indisposed at the moment, then we understand as well. I kind of just narrow my just kind of give a slight grin.
And he goes, well, she's definitely not here. I haven't seen her in a few days. But when she does return, I will give her the message that you came calling.
Very well. You have a good one.
And to you as well. And the door closes.
Well, that happened.
As you turn around, magical lights start to pop on as darkness starts to fall. You know, darkness is coming earlier and earlier each day. Even though you guys really haven't entered autumn yet, you're just, the days are still warm, but the evenings are getting.
Not sure if I like this or don't like this. Perhaps we should go speak to your dream sender, so to speak. The Winter's Kiss. Should we make it there?
The spy shop?
Very well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
is special.
You make your way out, and you kind of take a more direct route to the main road that goes northbound, north and south, through the city. And it's dark outside now. The street lamps are lit. You kind of cut through an alley that is not as well lit, and you see this ethereal creature standing before you about 60 feet away. And it's just standing there, beckoning towards you.
Does everybody else see that?
They do.
I
So
was
there's
asking.
an ethereal creature
Just like,
beckoning to us, you said?
Yes.
And it's... I'm sorry, are we at the spice shop now, or are we still
No,
in
you're
the...
still in the Collegium District.
Okay.
You are coming up this way, and you see a shadowy, ethereal-looking creature right here.
Sorry, can you ping that again?
yeah, I didn't see that either.
Right there. You all see that?
No.
No, are you on the
No.
wrong layer? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's right here.
Is
Yeah.
it beast-like?
Yeah. What does it look like? A humanoid, non-humanoid?
Torso up, it looks humanoid. Has somewhat of a crown on top.
Who goes there?
And
I don't
it
think with the crown
says,
can be bad.
it says one word to you. Strauss.
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 Is
And
that the
Briniar's gonna try
Evander?
it toward it. So, where is it?
all right. I'm
I yell
going
out,
to
Evander?
place it on the map. So you should see it right here.
Levi's.
And everybody grab your token and plop it on.
I actually don't know how to grab my token.
All right, I'll do it.
I don't
Okay, appreciate
see tokens.
Ta-da!
Looks like Brynjar did it.
You can just go to where the character sheet is.
Yeah, go to your journal.
And then just drag from this character sheet onto the board, and we'll put it there. Just so you know, the square that's currently showing around me at the moment, that is representative of where my auras sit. So being in my aura can sometimes have nice effects.
Okay. So this is an upper area right here. You guys are coming up this road right here at the bottom of the map.
Yeah. Going to have to do this for me. I can't do it for some reason.
Okay. Give me just a minute. All right.
I made my aura a little
Duke.
slightly different color to be a little less obvious.
Which character are we missing?
Quentin.
Quentin.
We had a thing for him. There he is.
You should have control over him. Yep. Quentin, was it you that was exploring the garden?
Quentin,
Say
we
that
can't
again?
hear you.
Was it you that was exploring the garden at the embassy?
Yeah. I was looking around at it.
As from your location, it's still a little dark, but give me a perception check, please.
Very well.
Ooh, he looks like a statue. He looks like a statue.
Or a
That's my
hedge.
guess.
I'm doing perception.
Perception, please. Yeah.
Or a topiary.
Also, I can see through the darkness up to 120 feet. Did that help?
Oh, okay. Then you do recognize his face as being one of the statues. The face on one of the statues.
Wow.
I slowly summon my hex blade for this. He looks just like one of the statues at the Strauss house. What is your intentions?
He goes, to see you dead. And as you look to the right, you see this creepy little creature flying down from the rooftops. And let me...
But my imp is invisible.
I don't think.
In that case, seeing that, in my offhand, off the back, I'm going to summon my other Shadow Blade. So cast Shadow Blade in my offhand.
And let me put those two creatures into the chat here.
I was gonna say if that spirit or ghost said "remember me," I figured we stumbled into the hamlet.
I can hardly hear you. Could you?
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Oh my goodness, it's the ghost of the Night King.
All right, everybody, roll initiative, please.
Oh, snap.
Actually, I'm gonna have to clear it. I forgot to clear it after last game. All right, so
Sure.
everybody re-roll initiative, please.
All right.
Reroll? Okay. All right. Just say it looked like it was right, though.
That's going to be unfortunate for me, I'm sure.
Well, not for me. I rolled the exact same thing I rolled last time. What are the odds? I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket when we're done here.
Ah. All right, let me just pop these out. And
Isn't it? I'm trying to think. Wouldn't it be 1 in 400, right?
So, I
Technically.
guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah, to get the same number
I
twice.
would say sounds about right.
I think you just multiply it by the bottom part by 2. Anyway.
Well, to get that specific number twice, but if you just want to look at the situation where you get the same thing, it would be 1 in 20.
True.
all righty, Impy is first.
Let's see. I guess. Oh, this is actually kind of tough because if 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 he holds his action, does that the movement occurs during his turn, but the action is what's held, right?
Yeah, what you can do is you can hold your turn, declare what will trigger your action. So if you say such and such will, if such and such is this, I'm going to do this.
I guess what I kind of wanted him to do is if he sees me attack the I don't know what. I guess a Soul Eater because it's closer. If he sees me attack the Soul Eater, he would assist the first Eldritch Blast. But the thing is, he'd have to be within 5 feet of the Soul Eater, and I don't know where the Soul Eater might be.
Is Bashiv in the river?
Yeah, let me move.
Is he floating?
Yeah, he
Oh,
was.
is that
He was
water?
in the river.
Oh,
Yeah,
oops.
this whole area, starting from here going to there,
Little
is a
canal.
canal.
Oh,
Just a reminder, by the way, people should still have the temp hit points. I don't think they expire, but if they did, just kind of assume I do it at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
And or
how
short.
many hit points do we get?
I think it was 11 last time.
It's 11. 11 temporary hit points.
All right,
That's
so
like half your hit point total.
so Brynjar, you've been in the Shadow Realm before.
Yes, he has.
Give me a
Did you say something? I don't hear you.
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Give me a nature check at advantage.
Okay, nature check and advantage. That's weird. You cut out at the end again, but I heard, at least I got it that time. 17.
So you do know this as a soul, and you also know that Soul Eaters are typically hired assassins from the Abyss. They are typically summoned from the Abyss and other extraplanar ports of call, and they have a mental link with their summoner.
Oh, if they're hired, so they're smart. They're not just animal monsters.
I just kind of say, Soul Eater. But I don't elaborate too much more. Be careful of them; they're dangerous.
So it is hovering in the air right now. So what's Impy going to do? When you join into the fight, it'll follow you in.
Well, I wouldn't move toward it, but that's what I'm thinking is Sheev moves so late in the turn that surely the Soul Eater will have already moved. And so if that's the case, I don't know where Impy would want to be within 5 feet of a future position.
Yeah. Okay.
So it'd have to be a guessing game, right? Like he's probably going to walk along that path.
How is he flying up in the air? Is he visible?
No, he's always invisible.
Okay.
He's flying.
So
I
the
guess
soul.
what he'll do is he'll just sort of move. I guess he'll move here, like that, and then if he sees an attack, he'll try to help it. If the Soul Leader is within an adjacent square.
Okay.
Oh, wait a
So-
second. I'm gonna move him over here, so he's still within 10 feet of me.
Okay.
Wait, he's helping the Soul Eater? No.
So the Soul Eater will fly up in the air, and with its 100 feet of movement, it'll
100
come
feet.
down in front of Quentin and attack you.
Wow, that's fast.
Very well.
It's like 3 times a normal combat thing.
And it's going to make 2 claw attacks against you.
Well, there's 2 types of Soul Eaters. There's the slow Soul
Miss.
Eater and the
And miss.
All right, you dodge out of the way,
Excellent.
of the claws. And that is it. Quentin, you are face to
All right.
face with this multi-eyed crab-looking thing.
All right, I'm going to take 2 strikes, one with my Hex Blade, the other one with the Shadow Blade.
Okay. Are those both magical weapons?
They are both magical.
Awesome.
Short sword. I haven't done the details of it yet, but
That 16 does hit. That's its armor class.
okay.
6 piercing?
Actually, some of that is supposed to be. For some reason, that did not work as intended. Okay, it takes 6 piercing plus. I need to memorize these things. I
It's all good.
apologize.
It's all good.
Um,
And your supplemental damage?
yeah, there is other damage from my Hexblade stuff. And then it takes.
You can roll a die in front of you if you have it, or you can use in the.
Okay, that does not say what that does. Okay, no, that it takes 6 piercing. Yeah.
Okay. And
Um,
because it's a magical weapon, it took all of your piercing damage, and
All right.
it reacts to your hit.
all right.
All right, Saduk.
I need to do. I was doing an offhanded attack with my magics. My
I'm sorry.
the
Go
shadow.
ahead.
Yeah. So let me double check that spell. Make sure I'm doing this correctly. That is you fight it ain't a weapon. It deals 2d8. Okay. So it's Shadow Blade. What do I roll for that? Finesse, slice, destroy. In addition, use your sword attack to. Okay, so I'll just roll my short sword, I guess. -2 from this roll, so that's only a 9.
That misses.
Okay, that's all I do.
It kind of parries it with one of its arms.
All right.
All right, Saduk.
All right. I am going to move right there, and I'm going to throw a dagger at the Soul Eater.
Okay, I think you moved on top of Sorrel, so you can move right there.
Okay. Okay.
Do you not see Sorrel on the map?
So I saw Sorrel in front of me where
Okay.
when I began. Yeah,
All right.
that's fine.
Okay. Oh, that hits for sure.
Okay.
What is what kind of weapon is that?
It is a magical dagger that when I throw it, it returns back to my hand.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So you hit one of the eyes of this creature, and it just it screams in pain. You know, kind of this ethereal screech. And so it looks like it takes a total of. Is this a magical weapon, by the way?
It is. Yeah.
Yep. So 13, 18 damage total.
Okay. Perfect. Then I'm just gonna move back underneath this tree again and bonus action hide.
All right, well done. All right, Sorrel.
All right. How high off the ground is the Soul Eater?
He's about 5 feet.
About 5 feet. Perfect. Okay, because being about 7 feet tall. All right. So Sorrel will take a jog over to here. I'm going to try to see if I can smack it out of the sky and knock it down onto the ground.
All right.
Give that a whirl. So the first attack is going to be a shove attack, and then I'll try to follow up with a axe attack once it's down. So we'll try that. So that's going to be, and I think it can roll either athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
Okay.
It's a test. So 19.
Okay, just a minute.
Mhm.
It's going to
Not
choose
rolled.
acrobatics.
Okay.
And it rolled an 18.
All right. So can either knock it prone or push it back 5 feet, but I'm going to just knock it prone. So
Okay.
attacks will have advantage while it's down, and then
All
I'll
right.
follow through at advantage then with an axe. So he'll basically with a shield he bashes it, attempting to basically knock it out of the air.
Okay. So
Slam it
you
down.
get advantage on that since it's prone.
Yeah, and it's just the one. So there we go.
Yeah, so as it falls, it kind of rolls, barely miss it, and your axe goes careening into the cobblestone. All right, Brynjar.
Okay, so the what's its name? The Soul Eater is still kind of blocking our path, right?
It is lying prone. You can run past it and not provoke an opportunity attack.
So even with advantage, I missed it though.
Yeah, its armor class is 16.
But I rolled advantage. I hit it with a 20.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that.
Okay. Yeah, I hit it with a 20.
You did hit it.
Oh, please go ahead then.
Yeah, my apologies.
No, it's okay. And it is a magic weapon.
All right, you slam your axe into it.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Andrew.
No, that's okay. No, it's fine. I figured I was like, well, maybe he's seeing the 11 there. I'm like, no, it's the 24. It's the bold one. So okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Brynjar.
All right, and that's Sorrel's action.
Okay. So Brynjar is going off this whole mental control thing that he forgot to tell anyone about. And he's got to go after the Wraith. So if I can run past it, 2, 3, 4. And he's going to swing Dragorox at the Wraith.
He
Right
does
on.
apparently want us dead. So
Yes. That'll be foul creature.
I call it just.
It just kind of hisses at you and Oh, wow.
Oh my.
That most definitely hits. Its armor class is 13.
Oh,
Okay. So that's my first hit is 13, and then I will try again.
It takes it all. You slash into it. You know, even though it's ethereal, your weapon just grabs and you feel it dig into him. That attack hits as well.
Okay. Cool. And that's. Then a second one should hit as well. So let me roll that.
Like a knife through cotton candy.
And you know what?
almost.
Normally I like to save these for
Ignore this next roll.
crits, but I think I'm going to spend one of my things on a smite because this thing is kind of ugly.
Smite away.
So I'll just do a level 1 smite, but it's level 1 smite versus undead. Oh wait, it's undead. I'm assuming. Well, actually, I don't know that it's undead, but it's a shadowy thing. Is it undead? It affects my smite damage.
Give it a nature check.
Okay.
13 or better.
Okay. Well, whatever. Well,
You
anyway,
you don't know for sure, but you think it. There's a
Well,
chance it's an
Looks like a
undead.
ghost.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume that you can remove one of the d8s if it doesn't go. So I'm just gonna do a level 1 smite on it. Here goes nothing. So it should do 14 radiant, and 12 slashing.
Nice.
It yells out in pain and venom at you. It takes all 14 and all 12.
Nicely done.
So that is
Excellent.
26. Well done, Brynjar.
Solid hit.
And he says, "You will not defeat me so easily." And it's his turn, the Wraith.
Yeah.
And he reaches out and puts his hands over your head, and you feel your life start to drain out of you.
Excellent.
22?
22 hit points, you said?
No, 22 attack.
Hit.
Oh, 22 to attack. A 22.
Against
Ooh,
your
actually, it hits me straight on that's the straight up 22 AC.
All right. I need you to make a DC 14 con save.
Okay. I rolled a 24.
You make it. You're able to resist your life force being removed from your body. But you still take some damage. And you
How
take
much
26 necrotic damage.
26 necrotic. Nice.
He withers. Wow.
And you just feel your flesh melt
I'm glad I have that
and
11
rotting away.
first.
Yeah, no
All
kidding.
right, Sheev.
Okay.
Give me a perception check first, Sheev.
Perception.
As you're kind of looking around, you see on top of a roof here another Soul Eater.
Oh shit.
And it's just hovering there.
Can you ping it again? I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'll just pop it on the map.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Oh snap. Okay.
On a roof. Oh, wow, they're everywhere.
Danger, Will Robinson.
And with that roll, you also see another shadowy creature. Right here.
Oh dear.
Lurking in the shadow of the moonlit night.
I immediately cry up on the rooftops and I point. Let's see. Okay, my action will be I would like to place darkness at this point. And then as a bonus action, I will wait. Okay, there's my darkness is down one slot, and I will cast Hex on the Strass guy. Wait.
Yikes.
Right? The darkness is a 20-foot sphere. Mark?
Oh, 30-foot diameter, 15-foot radius.
30-foot diameter, 50-foot radius.
15-foot.
15-foot radius.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm putting it
Did you mark on
here?
the map where you're dropping it?
There. So I'm going to be on the edge of it.
All right.
And then while I'm in the darkness, I'm going to move 5 feet just in case they think they're clever and remember where I was standing.
Hmm.
Okay. Is that your turn?
Yep.
All right. All right. What do you want Impy to do?
Oh, well, he failed his clever planning because there's no one within his range to assist the attack, so I didn't attack. Plus, the soul guy is prone, which would be a disadvantage to me shooting at it. Although I could have shot at the wraith, I guess.
Okay. So Impy's not doing anything?
He snarls.
Okay.
Rawr.
Rawr. All right. Soul Eaters are up. Oops. All right. So this one gets up, uses half its movement. Come on, roll 20.
Fail me now.
My elf eyes were good.
Yeah,
Very
nicely
good.
done. Yeah, that was very nicely done.
Oh, bloody roll 20.
Did it lock up on you?
Yeah. I'm trying to remove a condition.
Ah.
Screw it. All right. It's going to continue its attack. First one is going to continue its attack on Quentin with 2 claw attacks.
Hit.
Now, and that one.
Both hit.
Okay.
Ouch.
What the hell? There we go. For the first attack, you take 14 slashing and 7 damage. And the second attack, you take 20 and 21,
right.
so 41 total.
Wow.
How's your health?
Give me a sec. Calculating. You said 41?
41.
Total, yeah.
I'm hurt, but I'm standing. Yeah.
Excellent.
Good. Your turn now, anyway. Or next.
I'm
And
really hurt.
it has its movement left, and it is going to rise up in the air, hovering about 20 feet above you, and that'll provoke an opportunity attack from Quentin and Sorrel.
Okay.
I'm going to use my Shadow Blade for this.
Okay.
Primary
hits.
to test it, because I was working on that.
So that takes the 14 slashing. Sorrel?
Oh, that
And
was Sorrel's attack. A hit with the 20.
Oh, got it.
14
And
damage,
the
yeah.
Shadow Blade misses.
14. Okay.
Yeah, its armor class is 16.
Ah.
So he's like what, 50 feet above us or so?
20 feet.
20 feet.
Oh,
okay.
I suppose. Is this considered dim light?
Yes.
I get that with advantage.
Okay, roll again. Okay.
It didn't work.
10 misses too.
All right.
But
Yep,
Sorrel got a
It was
piece
worth
of
a
it.
try.
Yeah, I got a chunk.
The okay, Sheev's in the magical darkness. So this soul eater is going to come and make 2 claw attacks on Saduk.
Oh my.
So that one probably misses. 16 against
No,
your
it-
armor class.
AC is 18.
Okay.
Nice.
So it just kind of clitters off of your armor, and you just kind of smile at it, saying, "Yeah, you got to do better than that." Well done, Saduk. Quentin.
This thing's out of my range, right? Melee range, right?
Out of your melee range, but within a ranged attack.
All right. So I am going to bonus action hex it,
It's hexed.
and I'm going to use my main action to Eldritch Blast it.
Blast away.
Good thinking.
Let's see.
How many beams? 3?
Yep, 3.
Okay, the 18 hits.
Right.
And it manages to move out of the way of the last 2. And it's pretty hurt, but still going.
So one thing, Clayton, one thing that I did not just do right now is scout. I have this skirmisher, which
Sorry, you're
allows
breaking
me.
up.
Sorry, I have the skirmisher ability, which allows me to use my reaction to movement if someone ends their turn.
Yeah, go for it.
And so I end up right there, 15 feet.
And it doesn't provoke an opportunity attack?
No.
I don't
Okay.
think it does. No, not for skirmisher. Yeah. It's not.
Excellent. All right.
Oh,
Saduk, it is your turn. Oh, wait, Quentin, you got something else?
something I forgot to do on Hexblade's Curse. I gain 3 bonus to damage rolls on those, so add 3 more to
Okay.
damage, I guess. To those. This is damage rolls, so.
No problem. Get that in just a minute. I got to roll initiative for the other critter that's on there.
Wow.
Okay, so 3 more on this guy. All right. He takes it. All right, Saduk, you're up. You got
Okay,
a
so-
Soul Eater 20 feet hovering above you, and 1 at
Yeah.
ground level behind you.
So I the last round I used the wrong dagger. Gishart's Fang isn't the one that returns. Reynard's Redoubt's the one that returns. So I'm gonna fire Reynard's at this floating one so I can get it
Okay.
back.
Yep. That hits.
There'll be no sneak attack on.
It won't? Yeah, that's right. It's not within.
Yeah.
So
it's
just 10.
Yeah, just 10. And then I'm just gonna continue to move over to this race with Brynjar.
All right,
And then I'm gonna use my other one, Kishar's Fang, with my bonus action.
go for it. Oh, most definitely. That wraith is squishy. Takes 22 damage. And it is near death.
I'll be back shortly.
All right, Sorrel.
All right. So this guy is 20 feet up. So
Mhm.
if I move, he does not get an opportunity attack. Is that how
No,
that
he
works?
does not. No,
He
he's
does
20
not.
feet above you.
Feet above, so he's not within. Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take advantage of that. So he's going to quickly duck under the creature and move over to this guy and start hacking away.
Attack away.
He takes 2 attacks. So he slams one down.
Hit.
There's 1, and there's 2. Oh,
Nice.
And you critted.
Nice.
Most excellent. Both hit with impunity. So let me see. Minus 16 and minus 18.
bam, bam.
Bam, bam.
Chunks of Soul Eater littering the street.
Yeah, you start carving away. You took out a bunch of eyes. It's got many, many eyes.
You know what I'm
Um,
gonna
All right,
do?
I'm back.
I am actually going to. He's in a fury now because this other thing popped up. He doesn't like these things for some reason. They just really bother him. I'm going to go ahead and use that, and we're going to do it again. So
Okay.
he just keeps hacking away at this thing.
Oh, jeez. You're just
Oh,
frothing.
I can do that.
And the first one does hit.
Yeah.
With 9 slashing.
And that will do it for Sorrel. He is in fury mode at this point.
Well done. All right, Brynjar.
Soldier to the core.
Okay, so first Brynjar is going to attempt to hack the wraith in front of him.
Okay.
So here goes nothing. The Drogorox shall be, I believe, a 25 will hit. So
Oh, most definitely. You probably blow on him.
He's going to puff away into.
Yeah, and you just
I
kind
shouldn't
of.
have had that. I shouldn't have had that radiant. Sorry, but the Drogorox 15 damage still.
Yeah, and you just kind of cleave into him and you just blow and you go away, Strauss.
Okay.
And you kill it.
Okay, so then I'm going to just real quick turn around and is this the one that's in the air? The one I'm
Correct.
I'm just gonna take for my first a quick 5 of movement, and I'm going to toss Dragoras up in the air for my second because I should be able to do that with my second attack.
Yeah, it's 20 feet above you. You've got 20 feet of range for. Yeah.
Yep, 20 feet of range, so it should be it should go. So here goes nothing. So that's a
16.
16.
That's just enough.
Okay. So it causes 14 slashing.
It takes it all.
And then I'll just bonus action it back into my hand.
So it just kind of like Thor's hammer magically appears.
Yeah, well, it actually travels in a phased state. Technically, too, when it hits on a range,
Mm-hmm.
it has this weird ability which I can choose another creature within 10 feet of the target to have to make a dexterity saving throw or take force damage. But I don't think there's another enemy within 10 feet of him.
That's correct.
That just goes to waste.
So it just phases back into your hand.
Yeah, like it travels and it will travel through items and then it's there. So
Right on. All right, reappears in your hand. Well done. All right, Sheev. You're in the edge of your dark bubble.
As a bonus action, I transfer my hex to this guy,
Okay.
and as a regular action, I will Eldritch Blast it. I think I get 2 Eldritch Blasts.
You cannot see it inside the darkness bubble. You have to move out.
I have Devil Sight.
Oh, you devil sight? Okay, then
Yeah,
you can see him just
that's
fine.
my combo. Is I squid ink around myself and then to
Right
give
on.
myself an advantage and stuff.
All right, far away.
It's like my inky fartness.
Yeah, you do have advantage since you can't see.
So then the thing is, it doesn't play well with normal people, so I have to be careful where I am. All right, so Eldritch Blast, and he's hexed. So I don't know if necrotic damage will do something on something so ugly, but we'll see. Oh, there it is, Eldritch Blast. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good. Oh, wait, it's an advantage. Let me roll again.
Yep. That
Okay.
hits.
Nice.
So there's that. Plus, I should get a 1d6 of necrotic if that's applicable.
Give it a go.
There we go.
So you do see the necrotic damage eat away at the flesh of this creature, and
Oh,
it takes it all.
So it's not. Is it dead things that are immune to it?
Some.
Usually.
Okay, so it's not dead. It's just from another world.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
So that
zap it
22,
again.
that roll that Brynjard mentioned said that this creature is from the abyss. So it's a fiend.
A fiend. Oh no, not a nice devil.
Anything for Impy?
Oh no, I'm gonna Eldritch Blast it again.
Okay.
Okay, so that hits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I'm gonna crit fish. I keep forgetting the advantage. No, that didn't work. And then I'm gonna d6 the hex. So 14 points.
So like a water balloon, this thing explodes, and black
Gross.
ichor falls on Quentin and Brynjar.
Eyes everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like you've been slimed in Ghostbusters.
Super squishy.
Ugh, disgusting.
That's
How
Quite.
vile.
yikes.
Okay, so that was
Nice work.
that was the end of my Eldritch Blast. So the end of my turn.
Oops.
And then Impy will I don't know. Impy has to try to help somebody. I guess he'll fly here and hope he's in the thick of things later when the first starts to fly.
Did this Soul Eater fly away?
Oh yeah, where'd he go?
Where'd he go? Because
Oh,
this one
sorry.
died. No,
He
that's
got
okay.
moved.
Yeah. He was here. Just
So the Impy's held action will be if any monster is next to him or under him, and somebody attacks it, he will aid that attack.
Okay. Now, for some reason, the hit points on the number 2 Soul Eater reset.
oh dear.
So let me go back in time here.
Yeah, I'll see if I can look. That was 9, 18, and 16.
It's a troll soul eater.
Right.
-9.
Yeah.
Minus
so, I took
18.
Yeah, minus 16.
-16.
I think that was the only damage it's taken, right?
Yep,
So far.
that's it.
Okay.
I was hoping they would all go away when the wraith went away.
Nope.
They probably already got paid.
That guy
Oh.
up there, I think, is what we need to take out too.
Yeah.
All
Get
right,
rid of
it's his turn,
Oh boy.
and he does fly over, plops himself in between Brynjar and Seduk, and attacks Brynjar. All right, where are you, Tough Shadow?
The night is
And
dark.
it's gonna like reach onto your head, and you just feel the strength, start to ebb from your body.
Oh.
20.
Wait.
20 does not hit, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
Whoa.
Never mind.
And that you actually see the shadow's face kind of scrunch a little, like and
Buddy?
And you know
Yeah.
the funny thing is, so a little funny note about Brynjar. I don't think so. On the plus side and the minus side, Brynjar actually has a pair of gauntlets of ogre power that don't. He has an 18 strength, and they just grant him a 19. So I think his strength would stay the same until he died. Like basically, his actual strength score would go down, but his effective one would stay 19 until he died.
Wow.
Wow.
Through a weird, it doesn't do anything else though. It does very little.
Yeah.
But I picked
right,
them up
we're
when they did do something. And now I'm
Wow.
attached.
All right, we're at time. Is it okay if we go a little bit longer and finish this combat?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, let's do this
Absolutely.
combat.
All right, Quentin is up.
All right. Just checking something real quick. All right. I'm going to. I'm looking for second wind. There it is. Okay. Bonus action, second wind. Let's see. To get 1d10 plus 1. Roll 1d10.
It doesn't look like we can interrogate any of these creatures. They're so alien.
They're not
Go.
going to talk to us.
Okay. Whopping 3 HP back.
Every bit helps. You never know.
Yep. And then I am going to, because I'm hurt, I'm going to stay back and I'm going to Eldritch Blast this guy. Get advantage
Blast
because
away.
well, I don't get advantage. Oh wait, do I?
I don't think so.
Is that considered flanking right there? 2 people within 5 feet? Or
Well, he's staring right at Brynjar.
okay. So just
You're not behind.
Apparently according to this I can only do 2 beams. So I'm
All
gonna
right,
be doing that from now
you
on.
hit it with that 17 and 21. Shadow AC is 12, so 18 force damage.
Alright, just 2 beams of Eldritch magic go past either side of Brenner's head and come together and hit this guy.
Yeah, and you leave a massive hole in it, and he's barely standing.
Oh,
Take that, you fiend!
Damn.
it's not
And
tough.
that's all I got.
His name is tough.
And you just hear this ethereal scream. Saduk, finish it off.
Yeah.
Finish him.
So I still got both daggers in my hand, and I'm gonna stab one into.
Dagger, dagger.
Decker.
That's a hit. Oh boy.
Woof.
Yeah, you take it out.
Okay. So then I'm gonna move. It's about right here. Say what's up to Impy, and then throw my other dagger at this.
At the Soul Eater.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it your yo-yo dagger?
It is. It is.
Yo-yo dagger. I love that.
All right, 15 does not hit. Its armor class at 16.
Ooh.
It kind of parries the knife out of.
All right, and I get it back in my hand, and that's my turn.
All right, Sorrel,
All right.
you got a Soul Eater in your grill.
Yep. He is in my sights, so he is going to slash with the axe. Down hand.
That's a hit.
Forward.
That's a hit.
Boom.
29. Well
Chunks
done.
of Soul Eater.
Yeah, you know, you're hacking into the flirting this black gooey.
Covered in it. That's what Sorrow lives for. And let's see, that is his action.
All right, Brynjar. No enemies near you.
Well, thankfully, there's still this guy, right? The
Yep.
Soul Eater.
Thankfully.
Is he on the ground?
He is hovering above the ground. His
How high
feet are
is
on the
he?
ground. He's right on the.
It's like a couple
Okay.
feet, like 4 or 5 feet above, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in
okay.
melee range if you base him.
Right. Okay. So I run over there, and I'm gonna try to whack him twice.
Yes, Sorrel is
So
lacking.
first one
Oh, bam! Yeah,
should do 14 slashing,
takes it. Slash into him.
and second one Only 8 slashing.
Only.
I know, right? He makes it so. Dude,
Yeah, Sorrel kind of looks to his right and he goes,
amateur.
"Yeah." All right, Sheev, what do you got?
Bonus action, I'll move the Hex to the Soul Leader 2, because it lasts for an hour. And I will Eldritch Blast.
Oh yeah, I forgot you could do that with Hex. Say, well, I don't want it on you anymore. Let's move it.
And they keep dying.
All right, the
So-
22
I'll be
hits.
doing that, but
22.
apparently I don't see anywhere where it says where I can move it. So I think he's got something different than me.
I'm using the first level spell Hex. You're using
you're using
Hexblade's
this.
Hex, right?
Yeah, I'm using
Hexblade's
Hex.
Curse.
You're
Yeah.
using actually
It's a
Hex.
different-
Okay.
yeah.
All right, that 22 hits. Roll your damage. Bam. You see blood oozing out of almost everything that looks remotely like an orifice.
Ugh, nasty.
It's still standing,
Ooh.
but just barely.
I'm a dragonborn on the edge, man.
All right, Impy gonna do anything?
Finish it, Impy.
Mark, Impy gonna do anything?
Did we lose him?
Oh,
lose.
okay. Oh yeah. Oh, I was pressing the Shift key instead of the Control key.
Ah,
I was gonna. I
I
said familiars can't attack unless I sacrifice my attack.
Okay.
So
Right.
Impy will just, I guess, move over here to get a better look at the gore.
All right. All right. The Soul Leader is gonna make one last gasp and attack Brynjar.
You always attack Brynjar.
because you're the one with the title, dude.
That's fair.
You're the one with the face.
It's gonna make
You're a
2 claw attacks against you.
Whatever.
19,
Ambassador.
19 misses.
21.
Actually, that also misses, just barely.
Wow, jeez,
I know.
a
See, I would've
tank.
Right. It would have hit me, but
It's that new armor.
yeah,
It is. And didn't they polish it up for you, and now you're ruining it?
got that new armor smell.
Yeah, I guess it's old armor.
It's got the smell of the previous owner on it,
That's
probably.
right. Oh, that's what that was.
All right. Anybody speak Infernal?
No.
Wait,
Nah,
what
not
does
me.
Impy
Yeah.
speak? He speaks one of those languages.
I bet he does.
Whatever is
Yeah, I
a
bet he does.
devil.
Is he like a
Nope.
standard imp?
I speak Umbral.
Let me
Let me
look.
pull him up. He,
speaks
speaks Infernal. He
Yeah.
does. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear the Soul Leader just cursing in Infernal and says we have failed in our mission.
And then if he says back in Infernal, then it sucks to be you. Wait, so they're both lawful then? Are they from the same area?
They're both from the Abyss.
Oh, yeah, it really does suck to be them, right? Because they broke their contract.
Yeah.
They both-
All right, Quentin.
All right, I'm gonna run up to this thing. I'm gonna do 2 attacks.
You'll probably only need one.
Probably.
Finish it. This is Sobek.
Yeah, that hits. How do you want to do this?
All right, I'm just going to cleave it in half with the shadowy packed weapon.
Yeah, you just jump up and you just like slice from top to the tail, and it just kind of peels open, and you see this quivering organs start to spill out, and blood flies everywhere. You've all been slimed, and it falls in 2 pieces at your feet.
Back to the abyss with you, you vile
And
creature.
you just see the claws kind of
One
twitching.
happened for now. Kaboom.
I'm just going to stand up, sigh, and just loosen the grip on my weapons, and they disappear. Okay, a bath is in order.
And one of the last things that Impy says or hears it say is that they are far more formidable than expected.
Oh, I tell that to the rest of the party.
Well, that's something. I
I
point
assume
directly
we're
to
the they.
Sheev. Seems you and I are the same feather. Like to have a good discussion with you later.
Okay. I'm not. I am not exactly the poster child of the Hex Warrior.
Nice.
Right. He kind of gives you a strange look. Quentin doesn't know anything about this pact. He vaguely remembers the pact he made because he made it in a fit of fear. That's his. That's kind of out of character knowledge. So
Got it.
Right.
he doesn't know about the
And
hex
mine
blade,
was
per se.
non-standard too. I think he doesn't have a normal understanding of it either. So we're both gonna be like the blind leading the blind. Because I think
Is it
I
gonna
just
be
grew
like
up.
the kind of bad sex ed that like fifth grade, like third graders give to each other, or fifth graders give
See,
to each other?
I've heard when a devilish god likes a mortal.
Exactly.
Probably very much like that. Sorrel flicks the gore off his axe, slings it on his axe, and claps Quentin on the back, kind of roughly. He's strong, and he says, "Well done, little man.
He would just like push for the.
Take 2 damage."
That hurts.
Our offices do have a laundry service, right? I assume.
Oh, totally. Dry cleaning too.
Mm.
All right. By the time you finish dispatching the last creature, 5 members from the City Watch appear at the top of the wall. And they're breathing heavy.
Just
As
at
if
the
they
top.
were running.
Or turned on.
And
I hold up my
they
hand to hail him.
they shout down at you, ambassadors, envoys, are you okay? Can we
We're
provide
fine.
any assistance?
Healing if you have it. I'm just kind of look at these creatures. Is there anything that seems to be on them?
No.
They're just gone.
Yeah, the wraith actually vanished, right? Or the undeads are gone,
Yeah, they just dissipated.
and the soul eaters are creatures not wearing
Yep.
clothes or anything.
Chunks of dead soul eaters litter the cobblestone.
Perhaps one of us should. I've never seen MP, so I don't know anything about it. I don't even know if it's there because it's invisible all the time.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should get while we're in town, we should acquire a means to communicate to the guard and send word for them if we're under attack again. That would probably be helpful, like a crow or something, or
A
pigeon,
whistle,
or whatever you
maybe?
use.
Or a sending stone.
Sending stone, that'll work.
Thank you for your time. Though.
The 5 guards reach into their pockets and pull out one. Each pulls out a combat gel and kind of throws it down. So 5 combat gels of healing.
Huh.
I could actually use one because
Each?
I don't normally.
No, there's 5 total.
Oh, okay.
One
So,
for each. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of, Brynjar caught one, Quentin caught one, Sorrel caught one. The other 2 fell to the floor.
Wait, how much does it heal for? Because I'll take one. I mean, I'll consume it.
2d4 plus 2.
standard healing potion.
Standard healing potion.
Yeah.
So 5 plus 2 is 7.
Put in a handy gel packet.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm fully healed. Plus, I have the 11, right?
Now, any damage you took comes off the temp hit points first.
Oh, I didn't take any.
Yeah.
It's just that I never recovered from previous wounds since I never trans.
Yeah. Any prior damage you took with the 11, you gotta deduct that from the 11 first.
Oh, you didn't even when we had the overnight?
I don't take long rests because I use it to charge my slots.
Oh, okay.
So all my healing has to be done through my first level sorcery spell slots.
Interesting. Okay. Huh.
I have to pump myself up manually.
Alrighty, so you guys were headed to the morgue, right?
I think it's where we're headed to next, right? Or no, we were heading to the
Spice shop?
the spice shop.
The
Yeah,
spice
yeah.
shop. I was going to suggest we go to
Mhm.
the morgue today. We could wait to do that sometime down the line because I wanted to try to get information that I already got from our man of lore history, so to speak.
Okay. Okay.
Professor
Yeah.
Problem?
Yeah, probably.
Problem.
All
So
right.
there are two
Well,
more
we will
people and
pick up
one's
the
friendly.
spice shop in 2 weeks.
Sounds like
Okay.
a plan.
Because the sun
Okay,
went
sounds good.
away somehow, right? The sun got away from us, and we should probably wait
Did.
till the next day.
Yeah, it's getting darker far earlier than it should.
Unless we want to break into the spice shop.
The professor weaves a good tale.
We're supposed to meet somebody there, right? I look to Brainer.
But they
We're
didn't say
supposed to meet
when.
someone at Winter's Kiss, which, assuming that that's the same,
Aye,
assuming that
it
Winter's
is.
Kiss, the spice shop, has a some sort of portal to the ambassador, the
Well, we were invited. Was that correct? I can't remember.
well, I was invited. I was told I could bring whoever I chose, though.
Well, I don't think we had to break into anyway. I think we just walk right in. Although it's getting
Yes.
late,
That
we
would
should.
be like calling a store in Washington House bunker when it actually is the path to the White House bunker.
Yes.
Hmm.
Stranger things have happened.
I guess so. It just seems like
It's true.
curious.
All right.
guys.
Thank you, everyone.
You got it.
And
Thanks,
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
All right.
Ta-ta for now.
Okay.
You guys.
Sounds good.
Uh,
Have a good one.
Thanks, Joe.
just wait. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I'm good. Have a good one.
See
All
you
right.
guys.
See you guys.
See you.